2.
Gonna call meeting to order, flash back.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Resolution 2000 were informed that Scott Ghost and Vision Drive is live streaming tonight's meeting. Consent agenda, motion to approve the entire consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Say aye.
Aye.
Steve Gordon. John Johnson.
I don't have too much tonight, just reporting that we started cleaning up some of our intersections from all the anti-skid and stuff in the winter time, and we have a few developments to do yet, so that's what we're going to be working on within the next week or so, and a couple of yards that we have to fix where the plows crossing grass and stuff. Other than that, I hope it dries out a little bit and we start cleaning some ditches. That's about it.
Thanks. Kristen.
Thank you. I have a lot to report tonight. All right, so since the last meeting, there have been 2 meetings of the HoneyBrook Community Partnership. The February meeting was at the High Hill Workplace, which is in the Kemper Equipment Building. And the partnership is reinstituting membership dues for those who wish to be involved. And it's tied to promotions. So if you have a higher membership level, you get more paid promotions through their Facebook page. Nonprofits can get the lowest tier, which is $25, and then free promotion for whatever special events we have. So the bill will be now. The HoneyBrook Food Pantry is starting a up to age 4 initiative that began today, and that has to do with high density nutritious foods, diapers, wipes, books, that sort of thing for that population and to help the parents of those kids. And there's about 40 families participating so far. In conjunction with that, there's an updated list of items with that initiative, and that's posted on the bins around town for collection, including ours in the lobby. The HoneyBrook shopping events in December went so well that it's been decided that it's going to continue this year. So there was an initial meeting to start planning that already last Friday at the youth center. At yesterday's meeting, we discussed the grant process. Invitations to apply for grants have been sent out to local nonprofits. And this year there's a little bit less money to give away because Harmony Day was a little rainy. So there's not as much funds to give away this year, but the 2 scholarships for Twin Valley High School seniors will continue, but there will be less money available to give to nonprofits this year. Presentations will be at the April 9 meeting of the partnership, and then the grants will be awarded on April 23 at a social place and time to be announced. There's more. Today, both I and Treasurer Swinty at the borough sent in our agreements to print. So we are going forward with the joint map that will be printed up. So that will be taking place this year, and it will be a 2020 release date. So we'll be getting all of that lovely information together over these next few months, and print will be soliciting advertisements for businesses to advertise on that map. It's a great opportunity because it's around for a while.
I was going to say, it's a perfect vision, 2020.
Yeah. The Chester County Solid Waste Authority normally by this time of the year has published its hazardous household waste collection dates. However, it's still not been announced. Typically, these are between April and October. As soon as they are announced, they will go up on the website, and it will be on the Solid Waste Authority's website as well. They are having a free shredding event on March 23rd from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. or until the truck is full, whichever comes first. And in conjunction with that, if anybody got one of these lovely postcards in the mail, you're invited to come and pick up some free composted leaves as soil conditioner. This is not mulch, but this is to help condition your soil and get it nice for your gardens and so forth. You can bring your own truck, and if you have your own tarp, great. If not, you can purchase one for $17. But the leaves are free until they're all gone. And that starts at 8, I'm sorry, at 7. Paper shredding is 8:30, so. This next item is actually a public works item, but Don doesn't know about it until now. I'm at my computer all day, and he's out on the road, so Harrisburg just announced yesterday that liquid fuel allocations are going up by 2.4% to all municipalities this year, so that's always good news. Got a thumbs up and down. Also, he doesn't know this either. I submitted a nomination to PSATs for the most improved roads and bridge project. Those get awarded at the PSATs convention in April. Since Don and his crew did such a great job putting together everything for Park Road, I thought, why not give them a shot at this award? So we'll see. Keep fingers crossed. I did update some information about the spotted lanternfly on the website. There's actually a license that businesses can get that move around in the quarantine area. The quarantine area is 13 counties in the state, including ours. And all of that information is on the website, but essentially someone can take an online course, get their permits for all the vehicles in their fleet, and then that person is expected to train everybody else in the company. So information is in the announcement section, but also there's a dedicated spotted lanternfly for which you can see all of that. And this training is done in conjunction with the Penn State Extension.
Have you heard about the stuff you put on the tree, that's for the sticky substance? Yeah. What I've heard is that they found some of the birds are getting damaged or injured from that.
Because it's so sticky, it sticks to them.
Yeah, that they're recommending to put some mesh around, like wire mesh around that, so you can do the job and not harm the birds.
Yeah, all of the updated techniques and so forth are always being put out by the Penn State Extension. So there's a link to that website. All the information that, as it comes available, is available there. Lastly, the Western Chester County Chamber of Commerce is having their municipal update luncheon on Friday, March 29th. John is signed up to go, and I will be presenting the items that have been happening in the township over the last year. They asked for talking points in advance this year, so I had to think hard and type it up, and it's already been submitted. So, I'll be reporting on that at the next meeting. That's all I have.
I'm certainly not going to talk for that long. Wow. I just want to point out that the Township's Act 537 plan, and that's our sewer service plan draft, is available for a public review. It's not something that we can send out or even put up on our website, so you have to come into the office. But it is here, available during normal business hours. If anybody wants to look at it, we just have the one copy, so hopefully we don't have, a line forming at the door. But that will be available for the next 30 days. The Recreation Parks, Open Space, and Trails Comprehensive Plan, the study committee received a report at its last meeting in January of the results of the citizen survey that was done. And I thought there were some interesting results to that, so it is attached on the back of my report. So you'll see that on the back. It says Passion MTR, which is the consulting firm on the top, and that's results from the survey. I should note that the group was very proud that they were able to receive 206 responses, which ended up being significantly higher than the responses we got for the township comp plan survey. So I really thought that was pretty good. The next meeting of this group is going to be on March 21st here at 6:30 p.m. I know some people have been wondering about what's going on with the sidewalk along Simplee that's going to connect Humboldt Park to the sidewalk that the borough recently put in, that very nice new sidewalk. I want to assure everybody that the township's going to put its piece of the sidewalk there. The project has been turned over to Technicon, and they're going to be getting surveyors out there shortly. We're going to be taking a look at doing it a couple different ways. One is just getting it in along the road as tight as we can, or two, incorporating piping the drainage ditch that's along there, which I guess the state believes is an intermittent stream of some type, and just piping it across the frontage of the church property. So we're going to be looking at that. One of the things that Mike has already done is check the natural diversity index, and lo and behold, it's not surprising that we have a hit for bob turtles, so we're going to have to do some additional work if we do go ahead and do something with the ditch. Obviously, if we don't touch that, then we won't have to worry about it. But yeah, that wasn't a surprise. And then the one thing that I'm going to say, and Chip, if I'm stealing any of your thunder, I apologize. You could probably embellish this point, though, is that on March 19th, the Land Preservation Committee, at their regular meeting, they're going to be providing their annual report to the Board of Supervisors. So make sure you have that on your calendar, March 19th, here with Land Preservation. And that's all I have. Chip.
Steve, you stole my thunder. January 16th was our reorg meeting. We elected myself as chair. Shane Hedden, vice chair. Last year, the committee worked on updating the plan for the township and made recommendations for adoption to the Board of Supervisors, which I see in the notes. I wasn't here at the last meeting, was adopted. A notable accomplishment as of December of last year, we have 31.5% of the township reserve. That's a total acreage. That's approximately 5,000 acres. And we have about 40% of the township that has potential for preservation. And as Steve mentioned, our next meeting is next Tuesday, the 19th.
Park and Rec Board. Anybody have that?
No, but I have a few items. The Park and Rec Board has scheduled the HoneyBrook Community Cleanup Day for Saturday, April 27th from 9 to noon. It is on the Make Pennsylvania Beautiful website. So as a registered event with the state, PennDOT will be providing gloves and vests and bags for us. So anybody is welcome to come join in the fun. And I just was in touch with Michelle Zeitz, who is our half-day camp director in the summer. And once again, we'll have 5 fun-filled weeks starting June 18 and running through the last week of July. The exception being July 4th week, there will be no camp. So that will be hitting your website very soon. And the seeds have been ordered for the raised bed garden. And so those will be planted as soon as the snow melts. It's good enough weather to do that. That's all I have.
Thanks, Travis. There are several items on the agenda tonight for the board's consideration from the last planning commission meeting, which we'll handle later on. The next meeting coming up here, we only have 2 items to talk about on the agenda. One would be a lot annexation plan that we will review and provide recommendation on. And we also have conditional use for mobile realty. Who's here this evening for the variances? We will be revisiting that conditional use application, the planning commission, which will then go to the board of supervisors for your April meeting for a while here. So that's all I had. Bob or Terry, anyone have anything to add?
Nothing to add. Spent a lot of time with Brandywine Terrace upgrade and spent a little bit of time on Potter Realty. But you're going to be covering those tonight, so I'm not.
Right, those will be on the agenda, correct. Great. Terry?
If it was warm, you bring the right.
My name is Archie Kuhn. I'm a retired builder with 30 years in Chester County, past president of the Home Builders Association and Housing Partnership in Chester County. And I'm semi-retired to do some park work. The reason I'm here tonight is I was working at 107 White Horse Road, and they procured a building permit that I think is missing a lot of things. So I stopped working for the contractor there. I think they should have, I'm assuming they should have a permit for replacement of bathrooms and kitchens, which includes plumbing. It's a house flip. I guess you might know the history of the house where the, from what I've heard is water was in the house for like 10 days. So the mold issues there. So I'd like to go on record saying that those mold issues should be disclosed. Yeah, I guess I have a little problem with flippers, being a professional builder, but I'm just looking at, I'm here tonight to bring it to the board's attention and to go on record, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else on that? New business. New business, removal, drill, or 3 all C's here.
Hi, good evening, Greg Ailman. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. We're here this evening asking for the board's support with respect to pending zoning variances associated with the redevelopment of the property at 2232 Bushwood, which is currently a mobile home park. The applicant and owner is seeking the variances to move forward with a redevelopment of what's there and an expansion further into the property to basically redo the entire mobile home. Mr. Fisher is the owner and the applicant. I know he wanted to speak to the board this evening, and we also just wanted to go over very quickly what's being proposed here in terms of the variances and the redevelopment plan. If the board will allow us a little bit of time to talk about those issues, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg. Good evening, board, supervisors. Thank you for allowing us to be here and present our case. And first of all, what I'd like to do is take a few minutes, as I did last week at the work session, and just kind of tell you a little bit about where we are as a company and where I started years ago in the mobile home business. My first mobile home park was done in 1972. This will probably date me a little bit, but in 1972 I bought a mobile home park in Daytona Beach, Florida, 178 spaces, and redeveloped it and expanded to 317 spaces. And since then I've done quite a few parks, some in Florida and some in the balance in Pennsylvania and Maryland. did present a list of pictures and so forth of our parks. If you would like to see it again or pass it around, I'd be happy to give it to you. That's up to you. Okay. All right. About 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago, we did buy the Randy Line mobile home park out of bankruptcy and out of foreclosure. And we intend on taking this park and redeveloping it into what we have today. Obviously, as time has passed on, our anticipation of having a larger park has diminished. And today we're here with preserving land, as you will hear in a few minutes. But our strength as a company is the purchasing of mobile home parks, upgrading them, working with tenants. Our strong suit is management. And so on affordable housing, obviously there's always tenants that struggle. And so our whole point as a company is to help them teach them how to budget and how to improve their homes and how to be dependable when it comes to taking care of their homes. It's been a struggle with this park, as we all know. And so over the last year, we have spent a lot of money in going in there and cleaning up the park as best we could. But most of all is that we believe that there's a place in every township for affordable housing. And that's why we're in the business of providing that. We feel it's a way to put back into townships and counties. We have 6 mobile home parks within a proximity of 1 hour from this area. And so what we try and do is to build confidence in people and make them proud of their home and proud of their park. And so upgrades is something that we constantly do. We never stop that. And so that's one of the reasons we're here tonight. We're here to ask you to consider helping us to redevelop this park. Any questions? No, I don't. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to have Sam Brennan, our project engineer, just go over the proposed redevelopment site plan and then excuse me, highlight the variances dealing with the steep slopes that are being requested and the variances dealing with the woodland clearing area. And then we have our wetland and environmental scientist here, Mark Gallagher, who can provide some details on what we're proposing to do in order to mitigate any potential impacts that would come out of the redevelopment. So Tim, if you could just briefly come over here. I don't know which slides you want up. Start with
rendering first.
and then just walk the board through so that they get the background and everybody here gets the background of what's being proposed.
Yeah, my name's Tim Brennan. I'm principal with Nazol. We're the engineers for the project. To give you a brief overview of the project, we've got 41 existing units on site right now that we totally redevelop. So we would have 113 proposed for the entire site. 138 are allowed, so we're about 80% the maximum. We've got 50-foot right-of-ways, 20-foot cartways. You can see most of the development is limited to the west side of the property. We're at about 24% impervious, where the overall allowed is 40%. And to go over the variances, I'll start with go back to the rendering first. You see that we have sidewalks throughout the entire development. We think this is something that is pretty unique. You don't see that too many places in many of the mobile home parks in the area. We've got the refuge areas. We've got 5 throughout the site. To go into the variances, I'm going to jump to another one of the drawings. Which is our
slope plan. Up that up. Maybe hard to see, but a lot of the dark gray areas throughout the site, you'll have a number of them in the bottom right-hand corner because that's where the small tributaries are. So that's where the root channels are. But if you go and look at the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to pull up.
And when you want to turn on your screens, you can actually have a lot more contrast.
Yeah.
So the main steep slope impacts are right in this area, the finger that goes part of the property. And the two different slopes, the precautionary slopes, we've got about 3 acres total on the property. Maximum disturbed is 30%. We're proposing 33.55%. So we're just 3.6 over. Again, it's just in that finger. And then the prohibitive slopes were, you have 1.38 acres for the entire property. Maximum disturbance allowed is 0. And we're disturbing a little over 11,000 square feet, 0.26 acres. So we're 18.7%. And yeah, mainly through here. And you can see some slopes through here. There was a discussion at the Planning Commission meeting, the importance of those slopes. We went back, looked at some of the historic photos, which is here. And if you could pop this up. This does a great job demonstrating how the property was used going all the way back to the 30s. As you can see, 1937, the majority of the property outside of that bottom right-hand corner was all farmland. And then in 1971, it started to transition over. You can still see most of it up front. The bottom, or upper left-hand corner was still farmland. 1992, trees were growing back. In 2018, it's only the existing mobile home park that you see on the area. You can see that 1971, we went back and part of the discussion with the Planning Commission was going back and looking at other records, USGS maps, which we did look at. There was a change out there between 1930 and say 1970, and I believe what these slopes are representing are just, there's a pond that was incorporated in this area that shows up in 1971. When that was constructed, and also when the mobile home park was constructed, a lot of that debris was just pushed up, and that's why you see this sliver here and this finger here. So when we get into steep slopes, you're more concerned about a large mountain area, where you're concerned about stormwater runoff, you're worried about erosion, sedimentation. In an area like this, where you can go back to 1937 and see the steep slopes weren't there. It was all agriculture. It occurred over man-made somewhere between 1937 and 1971. So that's the relief we're looking for the steep slopes. The adjacent on the right-hand side. Correct. We not lose constructed back in the yeah, we can get to that. As far as the woodlands. We do have a plan that shows the woodlands for the entire property. We've got class 1 woodlands on the site that represent most of the site outside of the existing improvements, which are 45 acres total. We're disturbing 22.9 acres. Again, mainly on the west side of the property.
disturbing 4.3 acres. And we're at 25.6 versus the 10% that's allowed by code.
So Tim, if you pull out the aerial and show where the interior is changed, the render, sorry, the render. Yeah, and you can see the adjacent, that is being changed down here, the adjacent development. Now, what I want to point out with this rendering, you've got just under 500 trees that we're planting, just for the development. And the tree replacement or the enhancement that Mark is going to talk about, we've got 1,900 plantings that will be going into that, the interior forest enhancement at the bottom right-hand corner of the property. So we go back to the discussion we had with the planning commission as far as we have today. If the developer came along and there's a brand new site, not disturbed, you try to get what you wanted to develop, you can do it, you move on. Right? That's all of the natural features that are out there. Mark will get into the enhancement of that area in the bottom right-hand corner. But if you think about what you're getting here, the rendering that we're showing, sidewalks throughout, and if you look at what we're disturbing on the west side of the property, there really is the same limits that were farmed back in the 30s and 40s. And what we're protecting is really what is pristine and hasn't been touched. So you're looking at positives overall for the project. As far as the 8% density, 60% of the impervious coverage, that we're 24 impervious, we're 40% allowed. And then you're looking at not only maintaining what is there in the bottom right-hand corner with your oldest forest area, but also enhancing it with the 1900 planting. So I'll transition that to Mark. Mark, on board, what we had asked Mark to do was to look at when you impact the woodlands in the lower left corner of the property, the ordinance requires some type of replacement or reforestation. And looking at its overall site, we asked Mark to come forward and tell us what he thought would be a good idea, rather than just planting large caliber trees here. How could we enhance what's there, and how would we go about doing that? And I'm not sure which plan you want to talk about first, Mark. Introduce yourself and say hi.
The one at the bottom.
Hi, Mark Gallagher. I'm principal at Princeton Hydro and I'm a restoration ecologist. So what I wanted to show you tonight was more visual, and we spoke about it last week. You go to this. So I want to show you some photographs of the site, and a site that has been managed for deer exclusion for about 25 years. So this first photograph is of the site in question. And a lot of the dense vegetation you see is multiflora rose. Next one, please. This is a mix of Japanese honeysuckle, multiflora rose, and oriental bittersweet. And this is oriental bittersweet in the canopy of many of the trees that are along the old railroad right away. Next one. So another view. So it looks dense. Pretty much everything you see that's in the shrub layer are all non-native species. Now, part of why we suggest enhancement, there still are really nice elements of this woodland. And this is a photograph. So the canopy trees are good to work with. I mean, it's a good start. It's not that everything's bad, but even though it's an interior forest, doesn't mean it doesn't need some level of stewardship. And our thought belief that a lot of this impact is due to deer, because a lot of the understory species are non-native. And what typically happens in this situation is deer love native species. The void is filled by non-native species. deer don't eat them. And we have this understory dominated by non-native species. Next photograph, please. This is a photograph taken from the USDA with a site of a deer fence. You can see everything on the left is where the deer are excluded, on the right where the deer have access. This is Bowman's Hill Wildflower Preserve in Bucks County. So on the right is the preserve, on the left is still state parkland, but not protected from deer over there. And this is a good example of a forest. This is a forest that has an interior. It's actually much larger than the forest on the site we're talking about. And it looks like a park. It looks like they manage the understory. The deer manage the understory in this case. Next one. This is inside the preserve. This is one of their trails. And now you can start seeing a shrub layer and herbaceous layer. Next one. And this is the view of a forest that I remember as a kid. When you look at it, you see trees, but you also see a lot of what we'll call sub-canopy trees, smaller trees, and understory trees and shrubs. Next one, please. This is one of their trails too. One of the keys that really indicate the influence of deer is that herbaceous layer. Now, this is one of the only places I know I can go to see the species. It should be flowering in like a month. It's Virginia bluebell. In the absence of deer, our forests look very different. Just another view, as we can see native shrubs, small trees, which is a lot of dogwood here. And again, it's a very species-rich herbaceous layer. Next one. And this is their floodplain at Bowman's Hill. Again, it's Virginia bluebell. It's a carpet of native wildflowers. This is one of the things we do not see due to the influence of deer. Mayapple, just another species that at Bowman's Hill is ubiquitous. Most other forests with no deer protection, uncommon. Sessions breeches. Next one. And this is bloodroot. Now, I am not saying that these are species you will eventually have here, but these are the types of species that can occur in the absence of deer. And what we found in a lot of these sites is once you remove the invasives and remove deer, the pressure of deer eating our native species, the native species can outcompete non-native species, but with the presence of deer, it just doesn't happen. So anyway, it's, I think, probably a different approach to typical just we remove some trees, we'll plant some more. We tend to view it as a way that really enhances this entire remaining part of the forest in a way that will provide better habitat for migratory birds and some of the wildlife outside of here. And it's a way we can see what a forest really should look like in the absence of deer. Anyway, any questions? No. I'm not. I would just try to describe this. So, the older growth forest, what our proposal is to put a perimeter deer fence around the entire area. We would manage invasives, which means remove some of the key ones, like Baltimore Rose, Oriental Bittersweet, the winged euonymus, and there's a few other ones there as well. And then focus on planting, or enhancement plantings of 3, which we think are key areas. I'm trying to get the number correct. And we are looking at about 1,900 plants, trees and shrubs, and a few mix. We try to focus on species that will do well in shade, as well as ones that will produce different types of food and fruit or nuts for wildlife, and species that are either not there or are uncommon on the site, but should be native to this part of the state.
So what we're proposing here this evening is that we ask for your support on that woodland variance, subject to coming up with a plan that's similar to this, subject to the township's review and approval. Ultimately, we're at stage 1 of a very large, long process. So what we've proposed is an alternative stewardship plan. We're certainly open to any types of revisions or changes that the township or its consultants may have with respect to the plan. But we believe this is a much better way and a better alternative than simply replanting with the large caliber trees that your ordinance requires. Of course, what we've tried to do, as Tim stated, was we tried to balance the ability to actually have the financial wherewithal to redo the park versus preserving as much of the old growth forested interior that we have on the site based upon historical data that we know. So we're really trying to balance both property rights with environmental stewardship here and really seek your support in moving forward with the variances as we request. Thank you.
I have one question for Mark. I would like to ask you the relationship of the proposed managed area inside the fence to other areas of the township that are nearby that are not protected in the same way. Would this area remain essentially isolated in terms of the species that are being propagated there, or could this become basically a source of seeds for reintroduction of native plants in other areas of the township?
It could, but in this ideal world, absolutely. But with deer, and again, they're essentially what we call the keystone species. They control the species composition of our forests. So if they're not managed in some way, then even if the propagules or seed of those species reach the other forest, we're just creating another food source.
May I have a minute to ask a question about Leaders?
Yes.
At the bottom of that drawing is the West Brandywine Creek branch of it. The deer fence is going to be protection for the creek. It will stop people from going from the mobile home park to the creek and doing things to the creek. It's just a point of clarity. We got to protect the creek as well as the woodlands. This drawing over here that shows the park itself with the mobile home spaces. The township engineer's letter to us on the planning commission indicated that every one of those spaces was eligible to have a storage shed or an outbuilding. And I imagine most of them will. When I look at that without outbuildings, it looks pretty nice. But I'm just wondering what it's going to look like with every one of them with a 10 by 16 or 12 by 16 storage shed on the same piece of ground. And I'm open to any comments about that.
If I just respond, I mean, that really is a land development issue that we haven't gotten to at this point. Certainly we can work something through with the board and lay out a typical law. And Herb said we can put limitations on the size.
Yeah, half that size.
About half that size. But we can work through that on a land development context. I mean, it's certainly something where we understand and we don't want it to look ugly either. We'd like to make it as orderly as possible.
Well, can the supervisors vote on it without knowing what the proposal is?
Well, this is just for support with respect to the variances that are kind of with the hearing board. We have to come back and condition use.
Yeah, there's at least 3 major steps in the process for this plan. The first one is the variance application is pending for the steep slopes and forest disturbance. That's the first step. And then there's a conditional use hearing for the use in front of the board of supervisors. That's another zoning approval.
Mike, the plan commission, they discussed this?
Yes, your motion tonight would be to support, not support, or take no position. This is a recommendation to the zoning hearing board on the variances. Recommendations from the planning commission were to not support the woodland disturbance, the two variances for the woodland disturbance issue, and take a position, no position for the three variances associated with the steep slope disturbance. So those are the two recommendations from the planning commission.
Take a look.
Does the board have any legal questions at this point? You've heard presentations last week and again tonight, but I want to make sure that you have the opportunity, if you have any legal questions, that we could answer them, either right now, or if you wanted to recess for an executive session, you have the discretion to do that as well. I just want to make sure that if the board has any legal questions, that you have the opportunity to ask them.
Okay. Don't forget, I have any.
All right. Motion support, not support, taking position in movable 3 LLC variance application relating to the woodland disturbance submitted to the zoning hearing board.
I'll make the motion not support on the first motion, first variance. First two variances.
I make the motion to support.
I'm going to second the motion to support.
The next one is B. Motion to support, or not support, or take no position on Move Road 3 LLC variance application related to steep slope disturbance submitted to the zoning hearing board.
Make a motion to take no position.
I make the motion to support.
I'll second the support motion.
All in favor, say aye.
I didn't hear the vote on the first one.
I interpreted the action by the board as a 2-to-1 vote, but
Yeah.
the board needs to confirm that. Is that the board's understanding?
Yes.
Okay, it was a 2-to-1 vote on the first motion. But the motion was, that passed, was to support the variances on the woodland disturbance.
Okay. Thank you very much for providing us the opportunity to speak with this evening and for your support and consideration.
Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion to grant. Yeah, you want right to it, I said, okay. You're done. Yeah, there's a little bit after the presentation.
Say that off of Penwood Homes. The track issue, person this popular realty. We are here for a final plan again, that's approved. I guess this is the third final plan approval. For the first one was before I was involved properly, when you approved the entire property development almost 5 years ago. Second one was last year, we said we were going to phase it, and we came in and got the first phase approved. And then we realized before we went to go ahead and finish the report, that we were running out of time on the preliminary plan for the balance of the site. So the land seller we were working with and us worked to preserve the balance of the approvals by doing a phase approval showing 3 phases. And that's where we are now. Questions? Thank you, please.
Yeah, we discussed this at the workshop meeting, just giving basically the same explanation that you gave, Sam. The planning commission did revisit this project again. It's essentially a phased plan without necessarily being a typical phased plan in the nature of each phase being recorded on its own. It would actually be recorded in full, and then a number of the issues that you see here tonight that were part of the recommendation of the planning commission was to defer certain elements that would typically be required, such as financial security for different sections of the project until there that particular section of the development at that point in time. So that's why you see all of these conditions that are before you tonight, and I'll just review those briefly. The recommendation from the Planning Commission was compliance with the Technicon letter of February 27, relocation of the top lot to the recreational area in the front of the development, as we talked about on Thursday last week. The deferral of the posting of stages 2 and 3 of the development until prior to issuance of building permits for those units within those stages. A deferral of final water and sewer approvals, agreements, and financial security for stages 2 and 3, again, until building permits would be applied for those stages. And providing proof of reservation with the sewer authority of all 128 required EDUs, which I believe we do have a copy of. We have received that at this point in time. So those would be the items that you would be considering tonight as far as the recommendation from the Planning Commission. Any questions?
Do we have a chance to ask questions before they vote?
Certainly. Yes.
Okay, regarding item number 2, relocation of the top lot. My question isn't about the top lot, my question is about the walking trail. And it's really a couple questions. What will be permitted on that walking trail? Just walkers, or walkers and bikers and skateboarders, and any motorized, small motorized vehicle? What limitations are there going to be for the walking trail?
Isn't it?
Well, at this point in time, that hasn't been defined.
Okay.
It said
It will be defined before law.
Wow.
Huh?
It said walking trail.
But that
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean people are just going to walk. That's concerned.
I've seen horses on a walking trail.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, second question. So that has yet to be determined by whom? You guys?
Well, there's a standing offer of dedication that the township could take over the trail at any time. And there would be no reason for me to recommend that happen in the early stages, certainly, not until this is completed, and until the township would have some need to connect to some trail outside of this system. Now, in the event that happens, yes, then it's going to be the township that decides what the rules and regulations are. Prior to that time, it's going to be, I believe, the developer, and later on, perhaps the HOA. If I'm correct, Chris?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, if the township were to accept the offer of dedication, then the township would have absolute authority to regulate the use of that area, it would be township property. So long as the township does not accept the offer of dedication, it will be a matter of the developer and then the homeowners association managing the use of that area. So I don't know if Sam has any different information on that, but that would be my expectations.
Okay, as long as everybody's clear on that, I'm not trying to make anybody mad here. I'm just, we're at the point where we need to get into details. And that's where it gets kind of confusing. There was one other detail that I forgot about right now. Oh, in these drawings, it states that the Board of Supervisors will determine the location of that walking trail with horses on it. Are you guys prepared to do that?
Well, the developer has indicated that at our request.
Okay.
And that's not going to happen in this initial phase, I don't believe.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, it will be the first phase.
Will okay, because there's, the board had asked the Trails Committee to see whether or not there was any opportunity to move it from the site shown on the plan away a little bit further from the rear yards of the people on Caitlin, because they had expressed their disappointment that it was so close to their rear yards. And in order to do that, we're getting into areas that are possibly wet, possibly wetlands. So there would be need to have additional wetlands study done to determine where we can place this. So it's going
defer or not defer the fall grant grants?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to defer or not defer the fall grant lot implementation plan reviewing the Salisbury Township, Rankin County, is the review, purpose, development, and impact in HoneyBrook Township.
I'll make the motion to defer.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve or not approve the payments of invoices prepared by the treasurer.
I make a motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt or not adopt the resolution to endorse landscaping 3, Chester County Comprehensive Plan.
I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt or not adopt the resolution to submit a sewer plan module for the Ames Coffin Development and PA Department of Environmental Protection for approval.
I make a motion to adopt.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to accept the offer from Penn Trans Engineering Incorporated to allow the township economic extension until April 1st, 2019, and issue comments on the HoneyBrook Estate preliminary final subdivision and land development plan.
I'll make a motion to accept the offer for the deal.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to award, not award.
Can I just add a point? I'm glad to see you're using HoneyBrook Estates there. It's time we start using the names of these new developments. We got 3 going right now.
We've always used the name, though.
Have we?
Yeah.
Okay. We asked, the president, the planning commission asked that, what we call popular realty be given a name and.
Well, it's Chestnut Ridge.
Chestnut Ridge.
Right, and they said, and Jen said she would start using that instead of calling it popular realty. And then Brandywine Terrace said they were gonna rename that.
But we don't have a name.
I don't have a name for it yet, right? But they're gonna rename it.
Yeah, I forgot, motion, I'll make a motion to approve the bid for road seal bid.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to award, not award bid for traffic line painting, roughly 219,000 line feet to lower bid. The land in the amount of, with a .11 2 per line foot. What?
11.2 cents.
11.2. For WL line and a .58 per line foot for a single white line.
Do I need a motion to award?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to award, not award the bid for equipment rental from the low bidder Robert Pierce Incorporated for the following equipment at hourly rate listed. Roller 35, skid wheel 1,000, table operator 250.
I'll make the motion to award the bid.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I believe that skid loader is supposed to be 100. Is that correct, Don?
What's that?
The price for the skid loader is $100 an hour, not 1,000.
No.
If it's 1,000, I want to rent it. Yeah, exactly. All right. Sorry about that. It's my time.
Motion to authorize, not authorize the township and dispose of the make, model, and attachment using electronic system.
I make the motion to order.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to authorize, not authorize removal of tax liens for 2 little homes that are unaffected because the units were removed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve, not to approve the final and maintenance security release recommended by Textron in the amount of $4,472 for the unlimited stormwater plan, Grove Road.
I'll make the motion for the release.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Other new business.
No.
New business? No. Old business?
since we have Don in the back of the room,
Yeah, sorry, Don.
then that Monday after their cleanup, I want you to send guys down and pick up all the bags and get rid of them for them.
We just picked up 13 tires off that road the other day.
Wow.
You got a head start.
Yeah. Somebody dumped them in
That's
there.
the outside
Right there. We already got some anyhow.
Good.
Moving forward with the right. Mrs. Butters.
Don't you love it? There's a house on the corner of Park and Chestnut and Cambridge. And when you're coming up towards HoneyBrook, and you want to turn right on Park, not to Cambridge, the line of sight is getting kind of tough, particularly if you're sitting in a low-riding car. If you're sitting in an SUV or a pickup, you're probably okay. But I just want to go on record that obstructed line of sight is soon to be a real problem, and I'm hearing complaints about it. And I'd like to get them off my back.
We'll have to send the township down to see if there's anything we can do about it.
Okay, and I noticed here on the Pennsylvania State Police Report for February, a category called Domestic Security Check dash School. 19 visits or calls. Anybody got any idea what that's all about? That's a lot of.
What did you say? Domestic security checks.
Is that the elementary center?
It could include that. But it sounds like it's.
Yeah, it doesn't give us the details.
Yeah, in our township, we have what, one school?
One public school.
One public school.
One public school, yeah. We have a lot of public schools. That's an alarming number for that kind of category in our township.
That doesn't sound like a call to me. That sounds more like a patrol.
Like they were in the area and checked it.
Yeah.
Domestic security check, okay. Okay. They do have a item called, a category called patrol check.
Just for a second, do we have last?
And that was 15, so that
Yeah,
was.
it's actually, it's out for everybody, and it's in your packet as well in the consent agenda. But, you know, all we have are the totals, we don't have any.
Right. So I'm just asking to compare last month's total, with previous month.
Oh, last month.
Previous
On the
month.
website.
Yeah, I saw this one. I said, do we have anything to compare? Is that the standard? Is that the norm?
Well, it was the school part of it that bothered me a little bit. A domestic security check, that could be just, you know, my wife and I getting into it, but you know, school, that's something different.
Some of the kids that go to the HoneyBrook Elementary Center play basketball and, you know, use the playground, so sometimes they're out there late, and that may be one of the reasons why they make that stop, to make sure that there's nothing going on over there.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Thank
ask
you.
you next time the state.
Well, I just asked if we can call up last month's, the previous month's report.
Okay.
Anybody else, Lorraine? Anybody come up? Adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor? I made a motion. All right, so the upcoming meetings, on March 14th, the Trail Study Committee, Park Recreation Board. March 18th, the Zoning Hearing Board, variance application by Local Realty. March 19th, the Land Preservation Committee, and annual reports to the Board of Supervisors. So we'll be attending that. Comprehensive Recreation Parks Open Space Trail Study Committee at 6:30 on March 21st. The Planning Commission on March 28th. Supervisors Workshop on April 3rd. Supervisors regular meeting, conditional use hearing for Mobile Realty 3 on April 10th. And on April 11th, the Trail Study Committee. Then PSAPs will be a week after that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I just want to mention one thing. Wednesday of the month, beginning